Have you ever found yourself pouring everything into a relationship, time, energy, emotions, only to feel empty in return? Like no matter how hard you try, it's never enough. Let's not sugarcoat this. Modern relationships feel like a rigged game. You do what society tells you. Be nice, be dependable, always say yes. But deep down, you know something's wrong. You see it, the lack of respect, the subtle dismissals, the way she's never quite satisfied. It hurts. It burns. But here's what no one is telling you. It's not because of what you're doing, it's because of what you're not doing. This isn't another feel-good pep talk. Today, we're stripping away the lies. I'm going to show you the 12 acts that turn the tables, make women see your worth, and, most importantly, help you reclaim your respect and power as a man. No fluff, no nonsense. Every second of this video is designed to wake you up, shake you up, and change how you see yourself forever. Comment below. I choose respect over regret, and commit to watching until the very end, because what you're about to hear will shift your entire perspective. Let's begin. Men everywhere are frustrated with relationships, and it's no mystery why. We live in a culture where men are told to suppress their needs, cater endlessly, and prioritize everyone else over themselves. You're told that's the way to earn love, but let me ask you this. How's that working for you? Look around. Divorce rates are sky high. Men are emotionally drained, mentally checked out, and stuck in relationships that feel more like obligations than partnerships. And it's not because you're not trying hard enough. The truth is, you've been lied to. Women aren't attracted to men who bend over backward. They don't respect men who chase, and they certainly don't stay with men who don't respect themselves. The problem isn't her, it's how you've been conditioned to act. Today, we're flipping the script. These aren't tricks or gimmicks, they're principles, unapologetic truths that you've probably never been told. But once you embrace them, everything changes. You'll stop chasing her attention and start commanding her respect. You'll stop being an option and start being her priority. This video is about you, your growth, your power, and if you're ready to stop being overlooked and start being unforgettable, stay with me. By the end of this, you'll understand why so many men fail and how you can succeed. Now let's get started. Number 1. Be comfortable walking away. It's a painful truth, but it's one you can't afford to ignore. The moment you're too afraid to lose her is the moment she stops seeing you as the man she wanted in the first place. Think about it. When you're in a relationship and you're constantly tiptoeing around her emotions, bending over backward to keep her happy, and swallowing your pride just to avoid an argument, what are you really telling her? You're saying, "You're my whole world. Without you, I'm nothing." And while movies, songs, and society might tell you that's romantic, let me tell you what it really is. It's weak. Women don't fall in love with weakness. They don't respect a man who's terrified of losing them. Respect isn't given to the man who chases her approval. It's given to the man who stands firm in his value and refuses to let anyone, including her, diminish it. Walking away isn't about hurting her. It's about showing her and yourself that you know what you're worth. Imagine this. You're in a relationship and she starts testing you. She cancels plans last minute. She starts talking to other guys, just as friends. Maybe she disrespects your boundaries outright, thinking you'll stay no matter what. And for most men, that's exactly what they do. They stay, they tolerate it, they make excuses. And what happens? She loses respect for them. The attraction fades, and eventually she either leaves or stays just enough to string him along while she looks for someone better. But you're not most men. You're different. When she tests you, You respond with calm confidence. You don't get angry, you don't beg, and you don't negotiate your worth. You simply let her know, I value respect and effort in a relationship. If that's not something you're able to give right now, I understand, but I won't stay in a situation where I'm not valued. Do you feel the power in those words? You're not lashing out. You're not pleading. You're showing her that your happiness and self-worth don't depend on her behavior, and that's exactly what makes her want to fight for you. Because here's the secret. People value what they fear losing. When she realizes you're willing to walk away, not out of spite, but out of self-respect, it forces her to reevaluate everything. She starts to see you in a different light. You're no longer just another guy willing to put up with anything for a shot at her love. You're a man with standards, a man who knows his worth. And that's the kind of man she can't help but respect, admire, and yes, fall in love with. But let's be clear, this isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate her feelings. Walking away isn't a strategy to get her to chase you. It's a declaration of your own value. It's saying, I refuse to stay in a situation where I'm not respected, and I'm willing to lose you to protect my integrity. That's not just attractive, that's magnetic. And if she doesn't step up, if she doesn't meet you halfway, then good. You've freed yourself from a relationship that was holding you back and opened the door to someone who will truly value you. Because the truth is, the right woman will never make you feel like you have to beg for her respect. She'll give it to you freely because she recognizes the man you are. So ask yourself, are you willing to walk away when your standards aren't met? Are you ready to stop fearing the loss of her and start owning your worth? Because the moment you decide you're no longer willing to settle is the moment everything changes. That's where your power lies. Not in chasing her, but in commanding her respect by respecting yourself first. Number 2. Radiate confidence, not neediness. Now let's talk about confidence, not the fake kind you see on social media or in cheesy self-help books. Real confidence, the kind that's quiet, unshakable and undeniable, the kind that doesn't need to be announced because it's felt the moment you walk into a room. That's the kind of confidence women are drawn to. But let me tell you what it's not. Confidence isn't sending her 5 good morning texts in a row when she doesn't reply. It's not dropping everything to accommodate her every whim. And it's definitely not obsessing over why she hasn't called you back. Neediness is the enemy of attraction. When you're constantly seeking her validation, what you're really saying is, I don't believe I'm enough on my own, so I need you to reassure me. And no woman, no matter how kind or empathetic, wants to carry the weight of your insecurities. Women are drawn to strength, not dependence. They're drawn to the man who doesn't need them but chooses them. The man who's confident enough in his own value to know that her attention is a privilege, not a necessity. So how do you radiate that kind of confidence? It starts with focusing on your own life. Stop making her the center of your universe. Reconnect with your passions. Set goals that have nothing to do with her. Hit the gym, not to impress her, but because it makes you feel powerful. Learn new skills, not to get her approval, but to expand your own horizons. When you invest in yourself, you're sending a powerful message, not just to her, but to the world. You're saying, I am enough. I don't need anyone else to complete me because I'm already complete. And here's what happens when you do that. Your energy changes. You stop radiating desperation and start radiating magnetism. She starts to see you differently. She notices that you're not always available, not because you're playing hard to get, but because you genuinely have a life outside of her. She realizes that your attention isn't something she can take for granted. It's something she has to earn. And that shift is where the magic happens. Because confidence isn't about what you say, it's about what you do. It's about the way you carry yourself, the way you handle challenges, and the way you prioritize your own growth. It's about showing her, through your actions, that you don't need her to validate your worth, because you already know it. And when she sees that, she can't help but be drawn to you. But let me warn you, this isn't easy. Building real confidence takes time. It takes effort. And it takes a willingness to face the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding. You have to confront your insecurities, own your flaws, and commit to becoming the best version of yourself. Not for her, not for anyone else, but for you. Because the truth is, confidence isn't something you can fake. You can't buy it, you can't borrow it, and you can't pretend to have it. Confidence is earned. It's built through the choices you make, the challenges you overcome, and the standards you set for yourself. And when you have it, when it's real and unshakable, it changes everything. Not just in your relationships, but in every area of your life. So ask yourself this: are you ready to stop seeking her approval and start living in a way that commands respect? Are you willing to prioritize your own growth, even if it means stepping back from the relationship to focus on yourself? Because when you do, you'll not only transform the way she sees you, you'll transform the way you see yourself. And that, my friend, is the ultimate power move. Number 3. Master the power of silence. Silence is the language of control. You've been told that communication is everything, that constant conversation and oversharing build trust. But let me ask you this: how has that worked for you so far? Think about the last time you poured your heart out, explained your every thought, or tried to fix an argument with endless words. Did she look at you with admiration, or did she tune you out? Did it bring you closer, or did it push her further away? Words, when overused, lose their value. But silence carries weight. When you learn to embrace silence, you're telling her something far more powerful than words ever could. You're saying, I am not here to convince you of my worth. I don't need to explain myself because I know who I am. Silence forces her to lean in, to question, to wonder. She begins to ask herself, what is he thinking? Why isn't he reacting the way others do? And that intrigue is magnetic. Imagine she's testing you, throwing out a petty insult or trying to provoke a reaction. Most men would bite the bait, argue, defend, or justify themselves. But not you. You meet her gaze, let her words hang in the air, and remain composed. That silence is louder than any comeback you could muster. It tells her you're not easily shaken. It tells her you're in control. And that's when she realizes she's dealing with a different kind of man, a man who doesn't play her games. Silence isn't weakness, it's strength. It's the calm before the storm. It's the deliberate pause that shifts the dynamic in your favor. Use it wisely, and it becomes one of your greatest assets. Number 4. Control your emotions. Most men lose because they can't control their emotions. They let anger, jealousy, fear, or even love dictate their actions. They react impulsively, without thought or strategy, and then wonder why they're not respected. But the truth is, a man who can't control his emotions is a man who can't control his life. Imagine you're in a heated argument. She's throwing accusations, raising her voice, maybe even pushing your buttons on purpose. Most men would raise their voice to match hers, try to outshout her, or storm off in frustration. But when you do that, you're showing her that she has power over you. You're telling her that your emotions are at her mercy. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who can't stay composed. Control isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about mastering them. It's about feeling the anger, but choosing not to let it control you. It's about acknowledging the pain, but refusing to let it dictate your actions. When you control your emotions, you become unshakable. And that's what women respect, a man who can stay calm in the storm. Picture this: she's testing you with jealousy, bringing up another guy, or talking about how someone else treated her better. Most men would lash out, trying to prove they're better or demanding she stop. But not you. You smile, nod, and say, "He sounds like a great guy. I hope he's treating you well." That's control. That's power. You're not playing her game, and that drives her crazy. She starts to see you differently, not as a man who's easily rattled, but as one who's confident enough to rise above the noise. Emotional control isn't just about relationships. It's about every aspect of your life. When you master your emotions, you become a man others look up to, a man who leads, not reacts, a man who commands respect, not demands it. And in a world full of emotionally unstable men, that kind of strength is rare. Number 5. Set unshakable boundaries. Boundaries aren't optional. Without them, you're nothing more than a doormat. You've heard it before. Happy wife, happy life. But let me tell you something. That mindset is why so many men are miserable. They sacrifice their needs, their values, and their self-respect for the sake of keeping her happy. But here's the harsh truth. A woman will never respect a man who has no boundaries. When you allow her to cancel plans at the last minute, disrespect your time, or push your limits, you're telling her that her behavior is acceptable. And once you've set that precedent, it's almost impossible to change. She'll keep testing you, pushing further, and taking more until there's nothing left of you. And the worst part? She won't even feel guilty, because you taught her that's how she can treat you. But when you set boundaries, everything changes. You're not just telling her what you won't tolerate, you're showing her how much you value yourself. You're saying, "This is who I am, and this is what I stand for. If you can't respect that, you don't deserve a place in my life." And that level of self-respect is irresistible. Imagine this. She's late for a date, no apology, no explanation. Most men would shrug it off, trying to keep the peace. But not you. You calmly let her know, "I value my time, and I expect the same from others. If you're going to be late, I'd appreciate a heads up. Otherwise, let's reschedule." That's not being controlling. That's setting a standard. And while she might act annoyed in the moment, deep down, she'll respect you for it. Because boundaries don't push people away, they draw the right ones closer. Boundaries aren't just about saying no, they're about saying yes to the things that matter. Yes to your time, your energy, your values. Yes to the man you're becoming. And when you prioritize those things, you attract a woman who values them too. A woman who doesn't just tolerate your boundaries, but admires them, because she knows they're a reflection of your strength. So the question is, are you ready to draw the line? Are you willing to risk temporary discomfort for long-term respect? Because once you set boundaries, you'll never settle for less again. You'll stop being the man who compromises and start being the man who leads. And that's the kind of man she can't help but follow. Number 6. Own your decisions without apology. Indecision is a disease. It eats away at your confidence, your respect, and your ability to lead. Women don't just notice indecision, they despise it. And it's not because they're trying to control you, it's because hesitation screams insecurity. When you falter in your choices, when you ask her what she wants without considering what you want, you're sending a message. I don't trust myself. That's not the man she dreams about. That's not the man who commands her attention. Decisions define you. They show her what kind of man you are without you having to explain a single word. When you confidently choose a path, whether it's where to take her for dinner or how you're going to build your future, it shows that you're in control. And nothing is more attractive than a man who knows exactly what he wants and doesn't waver. Picture this. She asks, "Where should we go tonight?" Most men respond with, "I don't know. What do you want?" It sounds considerate, but it's weak. What you're really saying is, "I'm afraid of making the wrong choice, so I'm putting it all on you." That moment of hesitation is the start of a downward spiral. She might not say it out loud, but in her mind she's thinking, why can't he just take charge? Now imagine a different scenario. She asks the same question, and without hesitation you say, "There's this steakhouse I've been wanting to try. I made us a reservation." Do you see the difference? It's not just about the choice. It's about the certainty behind it. That certainty is what she craves. It makes her feel secure. It makes her trust you. And that trust is the foundation of attraction. But let's take it deeper. This isn't just about dinner plans. It's about how you approach every decision in your life. Are you hesitant at work, waiting for someone else to tell you what to do? Are you unsure about your goals, constantly second-guessing your next move? If you're indecisive in one area, it bleeds into every area, and women can sense it. They can feel it in the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, and the way you react under pressure. Owning your decisions isn't about being arrogant. It's about being decisive. It's about saying, "This is what I want, and I'm going after it." Even if you make a mistake, it's better than being paralyzed by fear. Because mistakes can be corrected. Hesitation, that leaves you stuck in the same place, watching life pass you by. The key to mastering decisiveness is simple. Stop seeking validation. Stop looking to her for approval before you act. You don't need her permission to make a decision. You don't need her to agree with you every step of the way. What she needs from you is leadership. She needs to know that when things get tough, you'll be the one who steps up. And that starts with owning your choices, no matter how big or small. When you take charge, you're not just leading the relationship, you're leading your life. And when you lead your life with confidence, you attract a woman who respects that leadership. She doesn't want to guide you. She wants to walk beside you, knowing you've got the vision and strength to handle whatever comes your way. So stop apologizing for your decisions. Stop over-explaining yourself or waiting for her approval. Start trusting yourself. Start leading. And watch how quickly she starts following. Number 7. Prioritize your own growth. If you're not growing, you're dying. That's not just a cliché, it's a universal truth. Growth is the essence of life, and it's the driving force behind attraction. Women are drawn to men who are constantly evolving, who are always striving to be better. But if you've made her your entire world, if you've put your ambitions on hold to focus solely on her, you've already lost. Because the moment you stop growing is the moment she stops respecting you. Think about the last time you felt truly alive. Was it when you were chasing a goal, building something with your own hands, mastering a new skill? That fire you felt wasn't just passion, it was power. It was the energy that comes from becoming the best version of yourself. And that energy is magnetic. Women can sense it from a mile away. It's what sets you apart from the average guy who's content with mediocrity. But when you lose that fire, when you settle into a routine and stop pushing yourself, she feels it. She sees it in your eyes, hears it in your voice, and notices it in your actions. And slowly but surely, her attraction fades. Because no woman wants to be with a man who's stagnant. She wants to be with a man who inspires her. a man who challenges her to grow by growing himself. So how do you prioritize your own growth? Start by setting goals that have nothing to do with her. This isn't about building a life to impress her. It's about building a life that fulfills you. Whether it's hitting the gym, learning a new language, starting a business, or exploring a hobby you've always been curious about, the key is to focus on something that ignites your passion. When you do, that energy becomes contagious. Imagine this. You're working on a side project that excites you. You're passionate about it, talking about it with enthusiasm, and dedicating your time to making it succeed. She sees that drive, that determination, and it pulls her in. She starts to see you not just as her partner, but as a man with a vision, a man who's going places. And that kind of man is irresistible. But growth isn't just about achieving external success. It's about internal transformation. Are you working on your mindset? Are you confronting the fears and insecurities that have been holding you back? Are you building the discipline and resilience to face challenges head-on? Because true growth starts from within. It's not about what you accomplish, it's about who you become in the process. When you prioritize your growth, you're sending a powerful message. I am not here to coast through life. I am here to conquer it. And that message doesn't just resonate with her, it resonates with everyone around you. Your friends, your colleagues, even strangers can feel that energy. It's the kind of energy that opens doors, creates opportunities, and builds empires. And here's the best part. When you grow, you don't just attract the right woman, you attract the right life. A life filled with passion, purpose, and possibilities. A life that you control, not one that controls you. So stop making excuses. Stop waiting for the right time or the right circumstances. Start growing today. Start building the life you deserve. And watch how quickly everything falls into place. Number 8. Be unpredictable. Predictability is the death of excitement. If she can predict your every move, your every thought, your every word, the thrill is gone. And without that thrill, without the spark of intrigue, attraction fades. Think about it. When was the last time you were captivated by something or someone entirely predictable? You weren't, because human nature craves the unknown. We're wired to seek adventure, to be drawn to the unexpected. And when you embrace unpredictability, you don't just keep her attention, you keep her invested. Being unpredictable doesn't mean playing games or acting erratically. It means refusing to fall into patterns that make you too easy to read. When you're constantly available, constantly saying yes, and constantly doing what she expects, she stops seeing you as a challenge. And the moment you're no longer a challenge is the moment her interest begins to wane. Now imagine this. She's used to you texting her at the same time every morning, saying the same sweet things, and always being there when she calls. It feels safe, but it also feels boring. But then one day, you don't text her, you don't call, not out of anger or spite, but because you're focused on something else, something important to you. She notices the change. She wonders what's going on, and just like that, you've sparked curiosity. But unpredictability isn't just about withholding attention. It's about introducing new experiences, new ideas, and new energy into the relationship. Take her to a place she's never been before. Share a perspective she's never considered. Challenge her to step out of her comfort zone. When you do that, you're not just keeping the relationship exciting, you're showing her that you're a man who refuses to settle for routine. And that's the kind of man she'll always want to be around. Unpredictability also applies to how you handle conflict. If she's used to you reacting in a certain way, whether it's arguing, apologizing, or trying to fix everything, break the pattern. Stay calm when she expects anger. Walk away when she expects you to stay and engage. By doing the unexpected, you shift the dynamic. You take control of the situation, and you leave her wondering, what's he thinking? What's he going to do next? That curiosity is powerful. It keeps her on her toes, and it keeps the relationship alive. But let's take this even deeper. Unpredictability isn't just about her, it's about you. It's about refusing to fall into a predictable life. Are you stuck in the same routine, doing the same things, day in and day out? Because if you are, she's not the only one who's bored, you are too. And that boredom seeps into everything, from your energy to your interactions to your ability to lead. Break free from that monotony. Try something new. Challenge yourself. And watch how it reignites not just her interest, but your own passion for life. The truth is, unpredictability isn't a tactic, it's a mindset. It's about staying dynamic, staying curious, and refusing to let life, or relationships, become stale. And when you embrace that mindset, you don't just keep her attention, you inspire her. You become the man she looks to for excitement, for adventure, and for something she can't find anywhere else. Number 9. Challenge without demeaning. Women respect men who push them to grow, not men who try to tear them down. The difference between a leader and a tyrant is subtle but significant. A leader inspires, a tyrant controls. If you're trying to dominate her, belittle her, or prove you're better than her, you're not challenging her, you're crushing her spirit. And that's not strength, it's insecurity. To truly challenge her, you must first challenge yourself. Are you living up to your own potential? Are you setting a standard of excellence in your own life? Because you can't expect her to rise to a higher level if you're not already there. Leadership starts with you, and when you lead by example, you don't just inspire her, you give her permission to strive for more. But challenging her isn't about being harsh or critical. It's about holding her to a standard that reflects the respect you have for her and for yourself. Imagine she's venting about her job, complaining about how miserable she is. Most men would nod, agree, and offer empty sympathy. But you're not most men. You listen, then calmly ask, "What's your plan to change that?" It's not a judgment, it's a challenge. You're pushing her to think, to act, to take control of her own life. And while she might resist at first, deep down, she'll appreciate it, because she knows you see her potential. But here's the key. When you challenge her, you must also support her. If she's working toward a goal, be her biggest cheerleader. If she's struggling, offer guidance, not criticism. The goal isn't to make her feel small, it's to help her grow. And when she sees that you genuinely want her to succeed, she'll respect you more than ever. Challenging her also means setting boundaries for how you expect to be treated. If she's acting out, testing you, or disrespecting you, call her out, not with anger, but with firm confidence. Let her know what's acceptable and what's not, and don't back down, because when you stand up for yourself, you're teaching her to do the same, and that mutual respect is what makes the relationship strong. But let's be honest, challenging her isn't always easy. It requires courage, patience, and a deep understanding of what she truly needs. It's about finding the balance between pushing her and supporting her, between leading her and letting her lead herself. And when you master that balance, you become more than just her partner. You become her inspiration. The truth is, women don't fall in love with men who make their lives easy. They fall in love with men who make their lives better, men who challenge them to grow, to strive, and to become the best versions of themselves. And when you're that man, she'll never stop fighting to keep you. Number 10. Be unapologetically yourself. The most powerful thing you can ever do as a man is to embrace who you are without shame, without fear, and without compromise. The world will constantly try to mold you into something else, so will she. Society, media, even your closest friends will suggest that you should tone it down, fit in, or be easier to love. But here's the truth that no one tells you. The moment you try to change yourself to fit someone else's expectations is the moment you lose everything that made you valuable in the first place. Women aren't drawn to men who blend in. They don't want a chameleon who shifts his colors to match the room. They want a lion, bold, proud, and unapologetically himself. Think about it. When you're authentically yourself, flaws and all, you send a message that's impossible to ignore. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. And that kind of raw confidence is magnetic. But here's where most men get it wrong. They mistake authenticity for laziness. They think being themselves means staying stagnant, refusing to grow, or clinging to bad habits. That's not authenticity. That's complacency. To be unapologetically yourself, you need to know who you are at your core and commit to becoming the best version of that man. Not for her, not for anyone else, for you. Being yourself means owning your quirks, your passions, your dreams, even the ones she might not fully understand. It means standing firm in your values, even when they're inconvenient. And it means never apologizing for being a man who demands respect. When you do that, you don't just attract her attention, you keep it. Because she knows she's dealing with a man who can't be swayed, who won't bend to pressure, and who values his identity more than her approval. Here's the catch. Being unapologetically yourself isn't always easy. It requires courage, especially in a world that constantly tells you to play small. But when you embrace who you are, you give her permission to do the same. You create a relationship built on mutual respect, not performance. And that's the kind of connection that lasts. Number 11. Be a protector, not a provider. For centuries, men have been told their worth lies in their ability to provide. Bring home the bacon, pay the bills, buy the gifts. But while provision is important, it's not what makes a man truly valuable. Women can find a provider anywhere. In today's world, they can even provide for themselves. What they can't find everywhere is a protector. And that's where you come in. Being a protector isn't about physical strength, though that helps. It's about creating an environment where she feels safe, emotionally, mentally, and physically. It's about showing her that, no matter what, you've got her back. And it starts with protecting your own boundaries. You can't protect her if you're constantly bending over backward to please her. You can't create a safe space for her if you're afraid to stand up for yourself. Protecting her means holding her accountable. If she's disrespectful, manipulative, or reckless, you don't let it slide. You call it out, not to control her, but to ensure the relationship stays healthy. Women may resist accountability in the moment, but deep down, they crave it. They want a man who can lead, not a man who lets them run wild. It also means standing up for her when it matters. If someone disrespects her, you step in, not with unnecessary aggression, but with calm authority. If she's facing challenges, you support her, not by fixing everything for her, but by empowering her to handle it herself. When you do this, you show her that you're not just a partner, you're a rock. And that's the kind of strength she'll never forget. But protecting her isn't just about her. It's about protecting your shared vision, your shared future. It's about creating a space where both of you can grow without fear, without chaos, without toxicity. And when you do that, you don't just earn her love, you earn her trust. Number 12. Lead with vision. Women are naturally drawn to leaders. not because they want to be controlled, but because they want to be inspired. They want a man who knows where he's going, who has a plan, and who's not afraid to take the reins. Leadership isn't about dominance, it's about vision. And if you don't have one, she'll eventually lose faith in you. A man without a vision is like a ship without a captain, adrift, aimless, and ultimately lost. If you're relying on her to guide the relationship, to make all the decisions, or to set the tone, you're not leading, you're following. And while she might tolerate it for a while, she'll eventually grow tired of carrying the weight. Women want a man who can say, "This is where I'm headed, and I'd love for you to join me." But leadership isn't about barking orders or demanding compliance. It's about earning her trust by consistently showing up, making decisions, and taking responsibility for the outcomes. It's about creating a vision for the future that excites both of you and working tirelessly to bring it to life. Leadership also means being proactive, not reactive. Are you waiting for her to bring up issues, or are you addressing them before they become problems? Are you setting goals for the relationship, or are you coasting, hoping things will work out? The man who leads doesn't leave things to chance. He takes ownership, not just of the relationship, but of his entire life. And here's the truth. Leadership isn't optional. If you don't lead, she will. And while some women are willing to take on that role, it's not what they truly want. They want a partner who can guide them, challenge them, and inspire them. They want a man who can navigate life's challenges with clarity and confidence. So ask yourself, what's your vision? What are you building? Because if you don't know, she won't follow. And if she won't follow, the relationship will crumble. Leadership starts with you. It starts with your willingness to take responsibility for your life and invite her to join you on the journey. When you do that, you don't just keep her attention. You earn her respect, her loyalty, and her love. Every principle you've heard today isn't about controlling her. It's about controlling yourself. It's about becoming the kind of man who naturally commands respect, admiration, and love. Women aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for strength, authenticity, and leadership. And the truth is, every man has the potential to embody those qualities, but not every man will. The question is, will you? Will you step up, set the standard, and become the man you were meant to be? Or will you stay stuck, waiting for someone else to validate your worth? The choice is yours. But know this, the moment you stop chasing her approval and start leading your own life is the moment everything changes. Drop a comment below. I choose leadership, and let the world know you're ready to step into your power. Subscribe to this channel and share this video with another man who needs to hear this message. Because together, we're not just building better relationships, we're building better men.